Hey everybody, what's up? I recorded this already, but I found out my microphone wasn't working, so I'm recording this again. Today I'm gonna review Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie. And I could confidently say I had mid to high expectations for the movie, and it didn't beat them, but it definitely met the mid expectations. I feel so bad for saying that, but I'm a big fan of the game, right? I was from 2015 to 2018 when I was like 9 to 12 years old, but I'm 17 now, about to be 18 early next year. So, I'm a film production student now and I'm a film production student. That's all you need to know that my opinions on movies change over time. And this movie, I could definitely picture fans of the movie really loving it because it's a faithful adaptation, but the movie overall, the story structure, the writing, and everything met the lore. But the story of the lore is a little all over the place. The storytelling structure is weird and everything. So I'm not a fan of that since I'm a literal storyteller in my film production class. I tell a story through film. And the fact that this movie just did not get anything across, it was all over the place. The story was wonky. Like there are certain things after I watch this twice, that's for the second time, that just didn't make any sense to me. But overall, it was like an average movie, like a 5 out of 10. But, that's not really a bad thing. Like, it could certainly be worse. Because the way I rate movies, right? Oh, my microphone just went everywhere. Any movie that I give like a 4 out of 10, 4 to 5.5 out of 10 is usually considered okay. It's not good. It's not terrible, though. It's still watchable. Any movie I give a 6 out of 10 or over is good. It's definitely good, but not like on masterpiece level. And any movie that I give an 8 or 8.5 out of 10 or over to 10 out of 10 is an actual masterpiece. Anything with an 8.5 out of 10 over it or over is usually considered a masterpiece in my book. So let's get right into it. So firstly, the first detail of the movie is the first thing I really noticed is that unlike in the games, I'm sure you play as a security guard, so you don't really get a lot of depth on the character you're playing as, but in this movie we get a lot of depth. That's the thing I really liked about it. That's a positive, right? He's a security guard. His brother was kidnapped, and he felt like he could have done something about it to save him. And later, as the movie story unfolds, you find out that him working here has something to do with his brother, right? The guy who owns a place has has um has been in contact with his brother, who's obviously dead after 20 years. You're assuming to be dead, right? And another thing is that I liked about it was Matthew Lillard. I thought was just awesome in this, but he was only on screen for about 5 minutes, which sucked because it's been a while since I've seen him go completely nuts for a movie role. In this, but he was only on screen for about 5 minutes, which sucked because it's been a while since I've seen him go completely nuts for a movie role. Because he was like that in what was it? Scream. Scream was I was blanking on the title. When he was in Scream, I thought that might be his best performance. He was hilarious in Scooby Doo, but that's a stupid kids movie. But in Scream, I thought that was awesome. I wanted to see more of him go absolutely crazy, but that happened. But it was only lasted like 5 minutes. But I will say, for those 5 minutes, I was glued to the screen. I was as happy as I could possibly be while watching a movie. And then another good thing, the animatronics themselves were awesome and no CGI, all practical effects. It was I think it was the Jim Henson Studios production company that helped them make the puppets, the animatronics, but they were so good. They looked so real. It was really exciting to see practical effects in a movie that ordinarily wouldn't have practical effects because I know I might sound old school or something, or just like old when I say this, even though I'm not. I've grown up with the CGI, but I always preferred practical effects over anything else, just because it gives a certain vibe to it. It feels kind of like a movie rather than they're trying too hard to make the effects too good. Like they care more about the effects than they care more about how it looks than telling the story, right? That just annoys me, but whatever. It's not a big deal. But this movie was awesome because it had no I guess it might have had some CGI, I just didn't notice. But all the puppetry and animatronics was real puppets that they made and controlled behind the scenes with, I guess, remotes. I'm not sure. But that was really exciting for me, yeah. And another thing, actually no, I'm skipping on to the negative now. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I'm skipping on to the negative now. The negatives about the movie, the story wasn't bad. It was okay. The story was pretty mid. It was just all over the place too. Like the story seemed like it was gonna go one way and then went a completely other way, which might sound like a good thing in certain cases, but not in this case. Because there were certain things that just didn't make sense. If there was a twist or something, that would be cool. But this just didn't make any sense to me, right? It was random. It was odd. I didn't understand it, but and it takes a while to actually get into the action of the movie. It takes a good hour, I'd say, or at least an hour before you actually see the animatronics really become evil at night. But that's not really a big deal. I mean, that might annoy certain people, and it certainly annoyed me. But I know people who are going to be like, "Yeah, it's a slow burn. It's a thriller. What do you expect?" And I get that, but it's also false advertising if you see the trailer and you don't know anything about FNAF and you think it's going to be a traditional horror movie, but it's not. It's more like a slow burn, and I actually prefer the thrillers. I'm just upset on the. I just have secondhand aggravation for those who expected it to be a completely different movie, right? And I guess that would be the main thing that annoyed me about it, but that's a one big factor. That's it's a storytelling structure, and the story itself is worth like half, should be worth half of what made a movie good or bad, right? And that's why I gave it mainly a 5 out of 10, because the storytelling structure was just odd and weird. I didn't get it. So let's go to the good. The good, what was that? The good was the story behind the security guard, right? That is worth a solid like 30% of it. Like that was 30% of what made the movie good. The Matthew Lillard thing, that was pretty exciting, right? I give that 10 because he wasn't even in the movie for that long, and I enjoyed every second that he was on screen. He just wasn't on the screen for that long. And you think he would be since he's playing William Afton, the main guy, right? You'd expect him to be the main antagonist, which he was, but you'd expect a main antagonist to be in a movie for much longer, right? And he really wasn't. It was kind of crappy. The practical effects and the zero usage of CGI, all the effects were practical. That was pretty cool. That I give a solid 15%, right? So overall, that's actually 55%. So I did like the movie better than I thought I did, because 30, 10, 50. That's it. That is 55%. So, and the other 45% was of the negative was all for the story and structure, right? That was not great, but I overall liked the movie a little better than I didn't like it. So, and it's not as bad as people say. Like 6 out of 10 on IMDb.com is not that great for a new release, and also 25% on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty bad too. It really wasn't that bad, guys. Give it 50. Please give it 50. It wasn't as bad as you guys say it is. And with that being said, I give the movie a 5.5 out of 10. So if you liked it, please please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And have a nice day. I have no outro yet, so this is a new series I'm starting. But anyway, bye.